check out our new merch store at www.ShotOfFactsPodcast.com, where you can find our merch with shirts dedicated to each episode you love. Check it out today and support a Shot of Facts merch. So, welcome to A Shot of Facts. This is your girl, Deja Renee, and this episode is a shot of real estate with Denise Williams of Williams & Co. International Realty. Now, Denise Williams, or Denise The Broker, aka, is one
Yeah.
of the youngest real estate brokers in the U.S. and the owner of Williams & Co. International Realty, which is a full-service boutique real estate brokerage firm. Now, they offer brokerage services for transactions including or involving residential, commercial, and investment transactions. Now, also, their main focus is dedicated to bringing honesty, integrity, and specializing in providing detailed services to meet the needs of each unique customer that they have. So, Denise, how are you doing today?
Absolutely. I'm awesome. Awesome. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm just happy that you're here. You have the time to speak to a shot of facts about your business, overall real estate.
Thank you. Thank you. No,
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here and hopefully share some information that can be helpful to your audience.
Yes. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, my audience are, college students, recent
Mhm,
graduates, especially young Black adults who are looking into entrepreneurship ventures. So,
mhm,
I brought you on this show to especially discuss your journey to becoming a broker and how
mhm,
can another young Black adult get into this business as well. So,
mhm.
my first question to you is, how did you get into this career and what made you start into the real estate business?
Well, well, I guess let's go back to the beginning because it all started when I was young. Growing up, I was very poor. I was, one of six siblings. I'm the fourth oldest. And in that scenario, we're not going to get into all the details of it, but with regard to real estate, where I learned or had found a passion for real estate is the fact that I slept in a bunk bed up until 18 years old,
Wow.
because we just didn't have the income to have a lot of space. And so in that childhood or in those experiences and laying in that bed, I was so angry at times because I felt like I just didn't have any privacy. I felt like I just couldn't do my own thing. I couldn't talk to my boo at night. I couldn't sneak around. I had to, so, in that experience, it taught me that I definitely wanted to figure out how to gain access to wealth. And then in doing additional research after I graduated from college, and I checked all the boxes by getting a degree, by graduating with a high GPA, by pledging in a sorority. I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do in order to solidify a really, really great job. However, that didn't turn out to be the case. So real estate came up again, because what I did was I went online and I started to just look at different industries that were going to provide me with flexibility, that were going to give me really, really high sources of income or income potential. And, it really, really was just a really great fit. And if you also think about it, I mean, what millionaire or billionaire do you know that doesn't invest in real estate in some form or fashion? They may not be necessarily real estate agents, but they're going to touch real estate. It's a true way to wealth. And so, in realizing that and in doing my due diligence, coupled with my upbringing, I just knew that real estate was going to be a great career for me. And so, since 2012, when I got started, I haven't looked back since. So it's definitely been a part of my life for a while now, and I'm absolutely loving this industry.
I like how you mentioned that, most wealthy people do have multiple streams of income, and
Yeah.
real estate is a factor of it. And that's often something that a lot of young entrepreneurs want to get into, but they don't know how. They don't really
Mhm.
have the means necessarily right now to just
Yeah.
purchase a house or a property. Like, what would be some educational background information or just really ways to invest and save upon purchasing your first property or home?
Okay. So you want to talk about the home buying process for your primary residence?
Yeah, we
And
can talk about that
then
first.
okay, yeah. So when it comes to purchasing your very first home, there are three things as a young person. You said your audience is pretty young, so I want to make sure I break it down. When you are considering purchasing your very first home, because unfortunately, home ownership just isn't something that they teach us in college. It's just not.
Not
Um,
at
so a lot of time, right. So to give you a real life example of what happened to me when I was in college, I didn't understand credit in the way that I do now. And Domino's came to our campus. And what they were doing was they were passing out credit card for, let me run back. It was Discover that came to our campus. It wasn't Domino's, but they had Domino's coupons. So basically, they were giving out these coupons, but you had to fill out a credit card application in order to get a free large pizza. Now, I'm a broke college student. So, of course, I'm like, free pizza, bet. I don't have to eat ramen tonight. I'm down, So I filled out the credit card application. Unbeknownst to me, I got this credit card and I'm like, well, I actually applied for the credit card. I never actually physically got the credit card. What ended up happening was that it was fraud. And so my identity was stolen when I was in college. So I ended up going through this whole case and things like that, trying to get my credit and everything situated. But in that experience, my credit was damaged. There are so many people that have dealt with identity theft or fraud or just uneducated about credit and have made some bad decisions.
Those colleges, I mean, those credit card industries always come to colleges though. I never really correlated it with being fraud. Like, wow.
Yes,
I
yes.
just assume
So
like they just try to, get in
help
some
you.
people. Wow.
So right. And so that goes back to your employees. I'm sure Discover didn't teach those sales reps to go out and steal identities, but at the same time, they can't control who that specific individual is, and what they may do with that personal information for people. Because you literally had to put your social security number in. Here I am, I'm just young and trying to do the right thing and all of my correct information, address, phones. So I put everything because I didn't want anything messing up my ability to get that pizza. So just a mindset thing. So that was one of the experiences that happened with my credit. And like a lot of other college students, you might get those student loans and just sign on the dotted line because you never really read this thick packet of information that they give you regarding loans. All you want is the end result. All you want is that excess check, right? That's all you're concerned about. So we're not thinking about home ownership when we're 18, 19, 20 years old. We're only thinking about what's in front of us, which is school. And so that was a bad experience that ruined my credit. So I say that to say that credit is one of the pillars to home ownership. You have to protect your credit. There is no way around that. When it comes to home ownership, you have to hit a specific number that the lender will require in order to get that approval. The second aspect to credit or to home ownership is going to be your income. With your income, you're going to want to make sure that you obviously are making some type of income. Lenders prefer W-2 income. I know there's a wave of entrepreneurship, but when you are an entrepreneur, it is tougher to buy a home. The reason you might ask is like, well, why is that? It's because there's more risk on paper. So because like me, I'm a full-time entrepreneur, I don't get a W-2 paycheck. To the lender, that means I don't have guaranteed income. But if I work for a business or a corporation, they trust that a little bit more because you're having consistent income. So what I would encourage young people to do is still keep your 9-to-5 job, even if you are an entrepreneur on the side, so that when it comes to your approval process, it's going to be a lot smoother and easier for you. And you're going to be able to take advantage of, different programs, down payment assistance, things of that nature. And turning in your paperwork and getting that approval letter is going to be a lot more smooth than it is when you're an entrepreneur. Because as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to make sure, one, that you're claiming all of your income on your taxes. That's going to be one way. Or you can go the no doc route, but I'm not even going to talk about that on this podcast. That's another, that's a sidebar for another day. If you're making $1 million or more, call me. We can talk about some off the book type products that lenders offer. But if you're just going the traditional route, having that income documented, from a W-2 standpoint, boom, easy. So that's 2. The third piece is your debt to income ratio. This is one that I feel like people don't talk about enough. What your debt to income ratio basically is your lender assessing how much income you have versus how much debt you have. So if your debt is exceeding your income, that's going to lower your approval amount. If your income is exceeding your debt, then that's going to increase your approval amount. So you want to make sure that you have a lot more income than you do debt. So one of the things that people like to do, especially when they first get out of college, what do people like to buy as graduation gifts?
Cars,
right? It is so much easier to purchase a car than it is to purchase a house. So it's always wiser to put money towards a home if you can before purchasing a vehicle. because now that vehicle, if you have a car note and it wasn't a cash purchase, now that car note is going to be a part of your debt to income ratio. They're also going to account for rent, or whatever other monthly bills you might have. So making sure that your debt is low, credit card payments, student loans, all those things are going to potentially count towards your approval. So those are the three pillars I would say to focus on when preparing to purchase a home.